second affirmation is twofold. Is that we are living creatures of earth, meaning that we're dust. The book of Genesis affirms that that God formed human being from the dust of the earth. And we are bodies, and we're embodied. And therefore, I think our bodies grow tired. They can get sick. They can get weary. They can be exhausted. Mental health problems happen in our bodies. And nothing that I say tonight changes that. So Christians, I think, for those of you who are Christians in the room, can embrace the best of biological research into mental health and mental illness. And we can embrace, in many cases, the use of medications. We can embrace the right care of our bodies. Our bodies are important, and mental health problems happen in our bodies. And though we're not just dust, we're living creatures of earth who grow and who love and who find who we are in relationship with each other, with our mothers from the very moment of conception, with God, with the land around us, with the places where we are. And we actually learn who we are. We discover ourselves in relationship. And so back to that inside out and outside in way of thinking, if we just think about mental health problems as problems of the body, then that's only half of the picture, because they can also be challenges in our relationships and in the world in which we live, our relationships with others and with the land and with God. There's a book here. It's not really a scientific book. It's a journalistic book by Johan Hari, who is a journalist, a British journalist, that I think is very interesting, because he says, Hari writes as a man who, he says, as a young adult, he was depressed and went to the National Health Service in England, took medication, went through some therapy, and he said, nothing against medication. It helped with my symptoms, but it never got to the core of the problem. Guys, it never felt like I was getting to the core of why I was anxious or depressed. And he began to look into this, and he said, what if the epidemic of anxiety and depression in our culture is because we live in a culture that just doesn't any longer meet our basic psychological needs, where we feel disconnected and in different ways. And he has different chapters. What if we feel disconnected from meaningful work, or disconnected from other people, or disconnected from meaningful values, or disconnected from childhood trauma, or disconnected from status and respect, disconnected from the natural world, disconnected from a hopeful or secure future? If we feel disconnected in those ways, then that can be one contributor to why we feel stressed and anxious and depressed. And maybe the healing is not, it is through seeking to reconnect these things that have been disconnected. So if any of you wonder how Christians can be helpful in thinking about creating a culture of mental health, look at this set of disconnections and think about how we can be agents of reconnection of these things that have been disconnected.